Okay, I should be able to record a few videos because I got a little bit of time or whatever. So today's lesson is love people where they are. Now, this particular lesson had to hit me upside the head in a friendship that I had a few years ago that I walked away from because, child, as you're gonna learn, I walk away from stuff. Okay, walk, run, sprint, whatever I need to do. Okay, drive away. Look, I am getting out of there, right? But what I'm realizing and what I've had to learn is that the reason why I've walked away and ran away from so many situations is because I love them based off who I wanted them to be. It wasn't who they were. It was my idea of them. And that's not fair. You can't do that. You setting yourself up for failure and you setting other people up for failure too. And you wasting everybody's time. You know? And a story I'm going to tell specifically because somebody cussed me out for essentially coming into their life and then just walking away. He was like, man, you can't do people like that. Like, he was going in. Like, we were in person. Like, I did it in person because I'm not afraid to let you know what it is and what it ain't. Like, that's one thing, you know, it ain't nothing you got to figure out. Like, it's going to be very clear and obvious that I don't mess with you anymore, right? But this particular friendship that I had, which was crazy, we worked together and child, he was fine, right? And at first we was gonna talk and I was like, but me, I'm the type of person, right? Depending on who you are and what I see in you, I know if we should talk or not. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of men that I've come across that I have told, we should just be friends. We should be friends. Like, you're the type of person that I will want in my life long term. So I wouldn't want a relationship to affect that. I wouldn't want a relationship to eliminate that possibility of you being in my life forever. You know what I mean? Like, or you having some type of us having some type of access to each other long term. So let's just be friends. Because especially where I was in my life, I just knew that I'm ridiculous and I rub people the wrong way. I end things abruptly and whatever, you know what I mean? So I just like, it's like there's a few men in my life that I have totally denied relations with because I was like, I think a friendship would suit us better. So this particular guy, we worked together and we was gonna talk at first, right? But what was interesting about him is that he wanted to be a cop. And I was like, I ain't never heard no black man that want to be no cop. Like, what? So I was like kind of on the fence, like, And then once we start like kind of starting to talk, he was just like, he let it be known, like, I'm not looking for nothing. I'm just, you know, out here moving and shaking, right? And I was past that point. I was like, look, I ain't got no more time for movers or shakers. Like, I'm done moving and shaking. Like, I'm ready to, you know, settle somewhere and, you know, plant seeds and grow together. Like, okay, so bet. So I decided, let's be friends. And I remember him specifically telling me, I don't need no more friends. Like, I have enough friends. Like, I don't, like, I'm not interested in being your friend. And me, I was like, well, I'm a great friend. Like, man, like, you missing out. Like, you know, like, I pretty much deterred him away from us trying to talk to him being my friend, right? And he's a Scorpio too. He's a Scorpio, so I want you to put a pin in that, right? He's a Scorpio. So I knew Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio, so I know how loyal and dedicated we are. You know what I mean? So when I thought about like, so he not looking for nothing in a relationship, that's not really where you're at right now. But you could get a really, really good friend out of this situation. Like, so go the friendship route. So he was not with the friends. He was like, man, So I convinced him, let's be friends. I don't even remember how, but let's just, he agreed. He's like, okay, we could be friends. I still think about him to this day. We ain't been friends for about 3-4 years now, and I still think about him to this day, because when I look back, I totally did not handle that situation correctly. I didn't. And you know, it's important that you are able to examine yourself and come to those type of conclusions where you messed up and you should have handled something a little bit different, right? And that's where this lesson comes from. Love people where they are. It comes from this friendship that I had that was absolutely amazing. But there were some things about him, right? I didn't handle it right, but I most definitely, for what I stand for and who I am, I definitely, like, that was a necessary move. Like, I understand why I did it, right? I just probably could have explained it better. I probably could have given him more time to, like, just grow a little more and become that person on his own, instead of me trying to force it. Like, I have that problem, and that's something that I'm definitely gonna work on. Like, I try to force people to do things that they're just not ready to do, and that's not my place. I can encourage you, I can support you, but I can't force. And I have this thing where I'm become forceful, and I just learned that about myself. All right, cool. We all ain't perfect. We ain't perfect, okay? I ain't on these videos because I'm perfect. That's not what I'm promoting. I'm just trying to show you how to self-reflect and how to handle situations that you come across effectively. That's all. I ain't perfect. You're gonna hear a lot of my flaws because I'm learning them sometimes in real time, and I'm actually going through them, breaking them down in real time as well. So, all right, let's get back to it. So, we was so tight. Like, no, I got a new phone now, but I still had the voicemails before I got my new phone of the voicemails he used to leave me, telling me like, yo, thank you for convincing me to be your friend, because this is the best friendship that I have. You know, like, he used to tell me that all the time. Like, dang, like, I really love you, bestie. Like, I really, really, like, man, you are great. Like, you are amazing. You know, like, that was my dog, man. That was my dog. But there were some things about him that I personally just couldn't be attached to, right? And for me, if we wasn't as close as we were, I wouldn't have even known those things, because the things that I was privy to are things that you keep to yourself, because it's your dark side, and it's sides that, you know, are not favorable to other people, and, you know, you will be judged essentially, right? So, I was privy to things and had knowledge of things that were, I guess you could say, despicable, or just, or me as a woman, unfavorable to women, where I'm just like, hey, check this out. And I told him, I said, if you're a womanizer, if you don't respect women, and you out here purposely causing harm, hurt, it's anything to women, I cannot support that. I cannot be your friend. And I meant that. And I still mean that to this day. But like I said earlier, I could have gave him time to grow out of that. Right? Because sometimes in our mind, or now that I know that at times we're doing things based off where we are in our minds. Like, there's a reason we've made that decision to move that way. There's a reason, so I didn't allow him the time he needed to get out of that space, to stop doing the things that he was telling me he was doing to women, which it wasn't incredible. He wasn't raping women like that, but I'm just saying, as far as like, I don't want to tell his business, but just, how men could just do, how men think of women sometimes, like, clearly if he wasn't looking for a relationship, that I can say that it's safe to say that he was running through women, right? Running through women, not being honest with women. Me personally, I tell all men, when if a man come across me, I'm gonna let him know how he's supposed to deal with women, right? And women have categories, just like men. Women have categories, and there's certain women that are off limits that you just should not bother. Because there are women that want to play games, and that's in the streets, and whatever, that just want to have sex and ain't got nothing, you know what I mean? Like, don't want nothing in life. There are women for that, right? There's women for that. Don't go bothering a woman who has trajectory and that has a plan and that's going somewhere. Don't do that. Don't ruin a woman that's just hopeful in love. Don't ruin that for her, because that was ruined for you. Like, to me, that's a man's responsibility. To me, it's equally the woman's responsibility, but when men know women are more emotional. So I personally cannot respect a man who can see that from a mile away and takes advantage of that. I can't do it. I just can't. I can't do it. I've met plenty of men that I could have ran circles around, and I didn't. Because that speaks to your character. When you see that a person's weakness and you do or don't take advantage of it, that speaks to your character. That speaks to who you are as a person. Period. Also, loving people where they are speaks to who you are as a person. So now I've learned that, okay, this is where you at. This is the decisions that you've made. These are decisions that you're continuing to make. Okay. I'll advise you. I'll support you. I'll help you, get to a better space. But I don't want to. I was judging him in a sense. I was judging him because I was just like, how could you love me so much and treat me so, like, what? And then turn around and dog women the way you do. I mean, I could say this. Got women having sex with women and buying Plan Bs and making them get abortions. Like, nah. I can't be associated with that. You got me looking crazy. You got me looking like I support that and I'm okay with that. Ain't no way. And I knew that when one of the girls, he told me the conversation was like, hey, you still, you and your Betsy still cool? And he was like, yeah, why wouldn't we be? I was like, she asked that because she trying to figure out, why am I associated with you? And to be honest, I've had the same question for a while now. I've been asking myself for a while now too. That's why our vibe's been off. Because who I am and what I bring and the love you have for me should be inspiring you to treat women better. As far as I'm concerned. You see a woman that's worthy. You see a woman that should inspire you to treat women. The least you can do is not be getting them pregnant and making her. I don't care about you running through women. I don't care about that. I really don't. Hey, have a blast. If they letting you do whatever and they don't want nothing, and you know they okay with just being second, third, fourth, I don't care about that. All right. But making a woman get an abortion or sleeping with her and then taking her to Walgreens, wherever the hell you buy see Plan B's at, what? Man, nah, fam. Nah. So, we had got to a space where, well, so first we was there and I was telling him like, look, if you a womanizer and you out here purposely destroying women, I cannot stand behind that. We could have a conversation. We could talk about better ways that you could go about that. But like, if that's how you moving, And he was just like, I don't really know what you mean by that. Well, let's talk about it. He didn't want to talk about it because he knew that's what he was doing. And I knew that's what he was doing. But I wanted to at least, I loved him enough and I respected him enough as my friend to have the conversation and just try to correct the behavior and just let him know how a better way he could go about the situation. Because I get it, but if I'm really your friend, I have to tell you about yourself. I have to be able to point out where you're going wrong. And you should at least listen. And it's okay, I understand that it has to manifest and it has to click in your mind, but I have to have the space to at least express it, and I need you to respect me enough to listen to what I'm saying. And that just didn't occur, right? And I can't mess with that. I just can't. Like, I'm good. Like, because I'm not saying, so a part of me, so maybe I'm not judgy, or I wasn't being, it was a low level of judgmentalness, because I for sure have struggled with that. Like, I have judged people. Now, it's like, girl, bye. Who are you? Like, going somewhere with that. Like, I've experienced my own things, like, yeah, you can't judge nobody. Like, look at you. Shut up. Like, so it was probably a low level of judging, but really what it was is the fact that he wouldn't even face the conversation. And to me, you so far in that, and you so, like, you know what I mean? Like, that, like, to me, that's not okay. That's not okay. Because I'm somebody that loves you. I'm somebody that's trustworthy. You know what I mean? That you can trust and that you know has your best interest. So if you're not even trying to listen to me, then that means you okay with who you are and you have no desire. Like, you think there's no room for growth. You don't have no desire to grow. I can't mess with that. So even though you love people where they are, you also have to have, we're going to keep going, boundaries. Like, you really need boundaries for everything. You need a notebook to write down your boundaries in friendships, with men, with women. You might even have to do it individually, because everybody's going to show up different. You know what I mean? Like, all your relationships with people are going to be totally different from other ones. So write this stuff down, because it's a lot. This is how you do the work. This is how you win at life. You have to record and know what you're doing when you're dealing with people in different situations, and when new things come up. Okay, so what's going on in this situation, and what do I need to look for? What am I seeing? What am I feeling? Look, stop playing. Stop playing. So anyways, that was already on the table of, hey, if you're a womanizer, I can't support that, right? We had that conversation. I let that ride. Like, okay, maybe we'll get there one day. Then we ended up starting a business together. And I'm a type of person, so like I said, he was trying to be a cop, right? But he was trying and it wasn't working. Like, I mean, he was just wrecking his brain. He was traveling trying to be a cop. Like, he tried in different states, different counties, like everywhere, and nobody, like, he will only get so far and then they'll shut him down. So what I was seeing, for one, was, to me, I was like, I see something bigger than a cop. Like, what cops start at? What's they starting salary? He's like, oh, 60,000, 65. Man, I see you being a millionaire. And I used to go with him. I've driven with him to some of the out-of-state ones and sat outside while he did his intensive physical of whatever the heck he had to do. Like, I've been there. And I've been there when they denied him time after time after time after time. And he was seeing rejection, and I was seeing redirection. Like, hey, this is beneath you. You better than $60,000. You supposed to make more than that a year. Let's start this business. Because I'm that friend, and I come like that. I'm going to love you right here, but then I'm going to also take you to another level. Because that's just me. You ain't got to do that, but that's me. Let's go to another level. I love you. You good just like this, but watch. Let me show you something real quick. So we started a business together. Now, another thing is, some people want to lead when they're not leaders. And they know they're not leaders, but they want to lead anyways. Okay. No. First of all, no. Because you were just trying to do something totally different and lead yourself through that, and it didn't work. You try to lead yourself, like let's have real conversations, friend. Come on, bestie. Let's talk about all the places where you're trying to lead and you're trying to do stuff and you're failing miserably. So let's work on you being a leader. Let's get you there first. You can't just start leading and just now you handling everything. That's out. Like, let's work together and calculate our risk and figure out the best way to go. Anyways, so, but I always encourage men to lead. I will help you become that leader. But you got to let me do my part. Because as I said in another video, is that the man is the face. The woman, men who know, the woman is the leader. They say you could be a good man on your own. You could be good. You could live a good life. You could make good money. You could live in a nice home and drive a nice car. But if you want to be a great man and you want to go to the highest level, you got to get beside the right woman. Because she going to take you somewhere you can't even imagine. So that's what ultimately ended our friendship, was because as much as he loved and respected me, he didn't and couldn't listen and receive what I was capable of giving, right? And what I had already proved to give. And that was because of what he had been through and where he was, and where I felt at was the fact that I wasn't in a space. Well, how old were we? Like 24, 25. I wasn't in a space to understand that, to understand, love him where he at right now, love him through this, so all my lessons and everything that I share and everything that I go through, whether it's at work, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with a stranger, like, it's shaping me to be the woman that I need to be for myself, for my husband when I get married, for my family if I decide to have one, or I go into a relationship with a man who already has kids. Like, it's shaping me to be the type of woman that understands the assignment in every aspect, right? Because to love somebody where they are is to accept them, understand them, be patient with them, guide them, plant seeds, and wait for them to grow inside of them. That's all part of it. And although we don't talk no more, he still got that business. He's went a whole nother way with it, doing some great things. Because I be looking like, oh, I see you. That's what's up. I look every now and then, make sure you good. Because just because we don't talk don't mean I want you to fail. What? Never. I am rooting from the sidelines because I couldn't do it standing next to you. I couldn't figure out how to do it standing next to you. But after I left, I'm figuring it out. Because when I have a husband, I'm going to go through moments like that. And I can't fold. I can't fold like I have. I'm thankful for these friendships and some relationships that I've had to walk away from, because it's building me. It's teaching me to be what I'm going to need to be when my time comes. I'm going to have all the tools. I'm going to have all the words. I'm going to have all the patience. I'm going to have all the understanding. I'm going to have it. And my husband going to be like, man, baby, like, you was made for me. Man, on God I was. Like, on God. So, I thought this one was important. Like, make sure you love people where they are, because you set yourself up for failure, going off of their potential and going off who you want them to be. Love them right there. And that don't mean that you have to deal with and drown with them. Like, if they're drowning, then you create some distance, but you still love them, and you still, you know what I mean? Like, you could throw out, what is it, the little thing that the lifeguard throw you could throw that out. Like, hey, you could pull them in, but you ain't gotta drown with them. Loving people where they are don't mean you gotta drown with them. It just means give them grace and understand where they at, and let that be that. All right. Thank you for watching.